Good morning, my people. Much love, much respect. This is me, Antonio Thomas, coming to you from Chicago, aka the General. I have a lot of topics to talk about today, but I'm only going to choose a few because, as you know, I only like doing short videos just to bring you up to date and keep you current and just have a basic conversation with my ADOS people, supporters, black people in general, and those who just have a certain thought process of logic and common sense about themselves, of the way the world's going and the way and what's really need to make changes here on the plane in which we live. So first, let's talk about what's going over in the Middle East. So Trump assassinated one of the top 3 generals or leaders, you may say, in Iran, and now people are up in arms over what's going on and what's happening. There's a lot of speculation going on. You know, that just shows that a lot of us are still emotional. Now, me, it's regrettable, but they go back and forth, you know, and this been going on for a long time. So what they got going on doesn't have nothing to do with me. So when people talk about draft and going over there and fighting and all this other stuff, you know, that die already been casted a long time ago. And I'm not going over there to fight anybody, you know, and I'm having problems over here. You know, we are not on one accord. You know, our sentiments are not their sentiments. We black people is only 12.7 of the population, and from there only 10 I'll say not 10, but only about 90%. You know, well, that's a big part. I guess I was saying only about 10% probably supports what be going on over there when it comes to the black community. But to me, no. I don't want to support what's going on over there, what they doing. I don't get all into politics, who's friends, who should have embargoes and all that other stuff. Because oppression is oppression, no matter who you do it with. No matter how you try to rationalize it, oppression is oppression. Now, but when it comes over here, you know, just because you got something going on with Donald Trump and y'all got this strange relationship or whatever, and it's not healthy, don't come over here thinking that if you come over here acting a fool, that we won't get on that with you, because we value our life too. So that stuff that be going on when they gotta be throwing bricks at tanks and stuff like that, and you got that jihad and all the other stuff, the people over here are different. You know, we had to fight white supremacy, you know, and we still fighting it. And so we don't have no problem with fighting anybody who want to act a fool on the disguise of getting back at Trump, or saying that, you know, they doing this because they religion demands it. So we finna get that out in the air. Black people over here have nothing to do with what's going on over there, because we trying to get what we need over here to survive. So pick your targets. Stay away from the ghettos, so-called. You know, so that's one thing. So let me go to the next thing, the year of the return. Now, as other countries talking about come on back, you know, we miss y'all and stuff like that, let's not get this twisted. They did not come over there and go into these countries and take us out and yank us away and all that. That's not what happened. What happened was these countries warring for powers, then like the powers and structures, and that's why most of us say we kings and queens, because they overseeded what was the governing structures in those countries, put them in bondage, and so they wouldn't come back, you know, because they used to exile people, but so they wouldn't come back. They sold them into slavery, not to the losing clan or whatever like that, and exile the kings and queens. They took them all to the borders of other countries, you know, by the sea. You know, those was long travels. People probably died You know, because I know they didn't. You seen the old movies, which some of them are correct, where they bound people and they was walking through the flatlands and deserts, the savannas, you know, until they reached the slave ports. And then who they meet at slave ports was the people that they was communicating with, the people that they had trade agreements with, you know, and the people that was their accomplices. They didn't force them to sell their people into slavery. They did that willingly, you know. And so once they took us there, they sold us into, they traded us into slavery, you know, for whatever monies, goods, whatever. And then you know the rest of the story. So now it's the year of return. They said, come on back to a place where you sold me at. First, you got to apologize to me, and then you got to give me what I lost. I'm not finna come back with all the money and all the resources I had to fight to get over here, no matter how meager it is. My meager income is a booming income to you, because your economy, you know, is financially collapsing. So that's why you want people to come over there, especially black ADOS people from America, because our little money will go a long way there. But once we get out there, we're not stable enough to create no money in an economy that's not creating one for itself. So that's out the question. We need to come together and do what we need to do here to build our coalition with those who know we need reparations, the closest racial wealth gap, and those who want to see us do well as a country in whole, not just the well-off or white supremacist thinking people or individuals you trying to usurp or transplant us with from other countries. So the year of return, it's a mess, and it doesn't make any sense. And it's other countries jumping on it now, saying the same thing. But I want you to know, and I want you to think about, why would you go back to a country who sold you in the first place? They telling you to come back for what? For financial means. Just look into how much it costs to come back and how much it costs to enjoy, and what what type of tourism that you're gonna enjoy when you get over there. Because the ordinary people that's over there pay almost nothing to enjoy the land and what they got to show as in tourism and entertainment. But once you go over there, the markup is like a payday loan. You know what I'm saying? It's marked up like 1,000%. You know, they may pay 89 cents for a meal. You're gonna pay 8 to 10. You know, they may pay let's say $8 a night for a hotel. You know, you're gonna pay almost $400 or $500. You know, so now you see the difference. So what's the difference? Both rooms look the same. You know, the area is the same. Y'all gonna experience the same things. It's just they are indigenous and you're not, and they're gonna be exploiting you. That's all that is. You know, they're exploiting your emotions and your feelings for some place that you have never been, who extradited you away in a violent manner. Now, if you want to go back and experience where your ancestors who was there walked the lands and how they live, or how you could perceive they lived in it, then go ahead, even though we don't really know exactly where most of us has derived from. Over there in Africa, it's 54 countries, you know. So, and a lot of people say, oh, well, we came from like West Africa, well, the west part of Africa, you know. So some may say that, you know, but you really don't know, because slavery was going on 100 years before the transatlantic slave trade started. So that's convoluted within itself. So I'm not gonna reach back that far. I'm only gonna deal with what's going on right now, because this is what we have to deal with from 1555, you know, where the first slaves was really being put and were injected into this country to 1619 from when when it was an institution for the structure of slavery, and then so on for that. I have other videos talking about the timeline of slavery. Now, as we talk about Africa and Ghana, let's get on something personal. Now, Luda, one of my favorite rappers, was one of my favorite rappers, but he said something ridiculous. He said that Africa is where you find the best black women in the world. Okay, so you downgrading your mama and other women who supported you as you was coming through and going through your way of this America process. So where was they when you had to go to school, when you needed clothes and shoes and all that other stuff? When you was a child, who was feeding you and cooking you meals? So those best women so you would have had it better with them than the mother that you had to become the person that you are. That makes no sense to me. You lost a whole lot of respect from me, a damn whole lot. So it's nothing you really can say to me. It's nothing none of these entertainments really can say to me about anything, because they're dipping and jumping to something and leading the ordinary people astray. If you're not saying you ADOS or talking about reparations or giving us all money in ways where we can become American the way we should be, then you're not talking about nothing. Because think about it. If you was to support that and be on one accord, then the money that we get would be more money we could spend to support you. You would be like a real high elite class then. Even though you think you're elite now, but what it is the money that you get is beholden to the other individuals or other cultures or people who pays your paycheck. Now, if you had a resource on where the money don't come from them and our money don't come from them, which it should come from the government, because they don't want to put us in the situation that we in. That's why we need reparations, because we got a racial wealth gap that's so big, from all the things that they put in place, from redlining and Jim Crow and all that, convict leasing. We can go through all that over and over again, how they reinstituted slavery and those type of systems all through our lifetime. My lifetime, my grandfather's lifetime, his grandfather's lifetime, and it's just oppressive. But we find a way to live in it, because we have to survive. And so you are turning a blind eye on to what's going on, so you can show face in front of your children and family that you're making it in this world. But we all know that we barely making it and we poor. Maybe some of us may be an anomaly and get out, inside a structure because they like our music and athleticism. So you get basketball, baseball player, people that's in sports, singers, artists, and stuff like that. So you pull them out by the other people wanting to enjoy their talents, so they pay them. And then we wanted to support them because they talents and they come from us, so we pay them. But they don't come back to us and give us what we need, structures or schools in our community. It's not hard for them to take 5 or 3% of their money and put it in the bank and say this is just for black people to get grants, loans, or credit. It's not hard to do that. It's a lot of them. They could do that, and it can help them and their families in the long run. Just in case they need some type of thing like that, and that's something small. So I just put that out there. And what's next? Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about if, we do what we need to do here in our country. We get political. We start working with one another and start making these divisions in a way that if you're not on what I'm on, then I'm against you. You got in Cobra in Chicago. I met a few supporters. It's like we it's the gang mentality all over again, except they don't have the toughness, you know. So it's the way they talk to ADOS is reckless. And I'm gonna tell you, if you come in my face talking that reckless crap, like as if, you know what I'm saying, you really want to get down, just like how that brother got down on that you know, immigrant brother who was telling him that he was a sellout and he stole on him. If you not cut from that cloth, don't start it. Because here, if you want to put your hands on somebody because I disagree with you, or you feel you losing a debate, it's gonna be a problem. And it's not just gonna be a problem with you, it's gonna escalate to everybody else, because I'll be on that with that. You know, so your best bet is to stop saying that ADOS is bots, or we some type of cult and stuff like that, because that's crazy. Because if we are, then you are too. You know, we are fighting for justice, not only financially, but emotionally and spiritually, for our people who has been denied it since been brought to the shores of this country. And if that's not on the forefront of getting reparations and supporting your people, then you're not talking about nothing. That's it. So that's basically what I want to talk about. That's basically things I went through. And I would like to say thank you. I love you, my people. And hopefully 2020, we will start doing bigger and better things, working as a network with each other, reaching out and doing what we got to do, so we can make this goal of reparations come a little closer, or we move a little closer to it. All right. Peace, love, happiness.